Well, many people are now learning. They learned about it over the weekend, in fact, about the background of U.S. President Barack Obama's nominee for U.S. Attorney General. At a ceremony to introduce Loretta Lynch, the president first expressed appreciation to his outgoing Attorney General Eric Holder before announcing his nominee for Eric Holder's replacement. Well, that nominee, Loretta Lynch, worked for former U.S. Attorney Zachary Carter, who is joining us here in the studio, a great friend of Arise. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you, Dave.
How are you?
I'm fine.
I know you must first of all be extraordinarily proud of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When you learned of this nomination, what were your first thoughts?
Well, I wasn't surprised because I think she is uniquely positioned to hit the ground running. And I think that everyone who was involved in the process of selection probably realized that. I mean, not only has she served as the U.S. Attorney for one of the largest districts in the country and confronted in that job prosecutions involving civil rights, terror, official corruption, financial services industry, fraud, but she's also, in terms of her relation to the broader Department of Justice, been the chairman of the Attorney General's Advisory Committee of U.S. Attorneys, which means that she has a broad span of acquaintanceship with the U.S. attorneys, 96 U.S. attorneys around the country, and has direct links to senior officials of the Department of Justice in Washington. So she can provide probably the most seamless transition of any of the people who were being mentioned as possible candidates for the job.
Zachary, take me back just a little bit. She did 2 tours as U.S. Attorney in the Eastern District of New York, and the first one during the time of the prosecution of the police officers who assaulted Abner Louima. That made national headlines, but certainly was a huge story here in New York, and she was on your team.
That's correct.
That prosecuted those officers. What was she like?
Well, she brings a tremendous amount of trial experience and investigative experience, and both were necessary to make that case a successful prosecution. It required an ability to cultivate witnesses, including police officer witnesses who had to testify against the backdrop of a culture that did not favor cooperation in prosecutions of other police officers. She had to be sensitive into her handling of a victim witness, and obviously Abner Louima was that. She had to get disparate law enforcement agencies to work together, and so both the New York City Police Department and its Internal Affairs Division and the FBI worked hand in hand in supporting that prosecution. So she was, and she's a person of consummate trial skills. So she was exactly the right person.
Let me ask you this: from what I could read today, as I read up on her, is she's very comfortable working behind the scenes, and she's really okay to let someone else on the team take the spotlight.
Right.
However, she's going to be placed squarely in front of the spotlight, and if you will, in the crosshairs, should she be confirmed for the Attorney General. Will that be comfortable for her? Can she make that transition?
Absolutely. I mean, the thing that permits someone of her talent to work comfortably behind the scenes is that she's comfortable in her own skin, and she's very secure. So she hasn't got to demonstrate that she's all that at every opportunity, and she can let other people shine, which is one of the reasons why she's able to forge consensus among folks in law enforcement, because she's willing to share credit and give people their due. She is not a ball hog. Some
people would reasonably surmise that her Senate confirmation should, if not sail through, go through fine. She's been confirmed twice already before, so it'll be hard to find a reason not to this time. But what might trip up or complicate her confirmation process? I
mean, frankly, it's hard to imagine what could, given her background. I mean, she covers all the bases in terms of having been tested in terms of her judgment, trial skill, investigative ability, her decision-making, her ability to manage people in large organizations. So it's kind of hard to imagine what could possibly trip her up in the
Have you given her any advice?
Well,
Or would
I
you?
always give her advice. I mean, she doesn't
what
have
is it?
No, she doesn't really need much in the way of advice. I mean, she is a person who I've been very proud to work with. I mean, she was my chief assistant, for the last 2 years of my tenure. She is naturally unflappable under pressure. She didn't need my advice and counsel in terms of being committed to doing the right thing for the right reasons. You can always rely on her making decisions on the basis of principle and not any other considerations.
I can just see that pride and admiration
yeah.
just oozing off. Zachary Carter,
Absolutely.
thank you so much.
Thank you.